Hello, everyone. I'm so happy that you joined me today for our book club. I was completely torn when I found out that Miss Tyson had transitioned into that next phase of life. And, I guess for some reason you just don't ever think that you're going to be without that person. And I had already ordered the book, but it's on, people just started ordering it so much, it came on back order. So I just couldn't wait. And I decided that I would get the Kindle copy, a digital copy. So if you guys are, in the same boat that I was and already uh, purchased a book and it's not at your home, or either you wanted to get it right away, there's a link that's in this description of the video that will lead you to how to get not only a digital copy right away, or you can get an audio copy, an audio book copy right away. And you can read along with us if you like. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait just a couple of moments to see if we have some other people that are going to come in. And then we're going to go ahead and start with the forward and the introduction. Now, while we're waiting, I'd like to give you some information on Miss Tyson. And I just pulled up a couple of different pieces, and I'll go ahead and read that to you now. Miss Cicely Tyson was born December 19th, 1924, and she was an American actress and fashion model, but she was so much more. She had a career spanning more than 7 decades, and she became known for her portrayal of a strong African-American woman. She received 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 4 Black Reel Awards, and 1 Screen Actors Guild Award, 1 Tony Award, an Honorary Academy Award, and a Peabody Award. The Screen Actors Guild, I have to imagine, was the one that was most coveted by Miss Tyson, because that is an actual award from your peers. She, of course, appeared in more than several movies. And the ones that I liked most was her portrayal of Miss Jane Pittman. I remember sitting down with my family watching it. And as a matter of fact, the foreword that you're going to hear in a moment, that was written by Viola Davis, had a lot of similarities as when I watched it at the same time that she was watching it. In Miss Tyson's personal life, she had a daughter at the age of 17, and at 18, she married a gentleman named Kenneth Franklin, and she was divorced. She also married, or began dating rather, a jazz trumpeter. I'm sure you all know who Miles Davis is. She had a lot of trouble with that marriage in particular. And although they rekindled their relationship, they had a tumultuous marriage. And Miles Davis, from what I understand, had a very volatile temper, and he was a very unfaithful man. So infidelity played a lot in their marriage. But Miles Davis credited Cicely Tyson with saving his life and helping him overcome his cocaine addiction. They resided in Malibu, California, and New York City until she filed for divorce. And their divorce was finalized in 1989, 2 years before Miles Davis died in 1991. Tyson was the godmother to singer, get this, Lenny Kravitz, having been friends with his mother. His mother is Roxy Roker, as well as to, she was the godmother to Denzel Washington's daughter, Katia, and Tyler Perry's son, Amon. So Tyson was also an honorary member of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and she was a vegetarian. And her list, her filmography begins from the year 1956 all the way throughout to the most recent 2020. The one that I really enjoyed her in was in The Help and also Medea's Family Reunion. She had a lot to say, and she also co-starred with one of my favorites, one of my sheroes as well. Can you guys think of who I'm talking about? She was one of the people that was a poet, and she was a poet at the inauguration. We'll see if you guys can come up with it. But I said that to say also that I was so proud. I have one of well, all of my nieces and nephews are great, but one niece in particular, just recently you guys found out about her, Amanda Gorman. Yes, she was the poet at President Joe Biden's inauguration, and her shero was the same person that I'm talking about. Do you have it yet? Okay, so if you have it, put it in the chat. I want to make sure you guys remember those names, okay? They're important. Okay. And we'll go ahead and see if everyone has shown up in the chat, and if not, we're going to just go ahead and continue. Okay, let's go and start off with the forward. Oh, if anybody would like to come up and chat in the discussion once the forward and the introduction is complete, just let me know. Well, I'm not sure if everybody heard it, but my other shero is Maya Angelou. Okay. And if you don't know, my niece, Amanda Gorman, had a ring on her finger. That ring was given to her by Oprah Winfrey, and it was fashioned in the shape of a caged bird. So if you know Maya Angelou's work, then you know that she wrote, "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." So that was just something good. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And let me just move this down a little bit. And let's see. Okay. So now, like I said, if you're in need of the actual hardcover book, that one is on back order right now. You can still order it. There's a link in the description box below. You can also order the digital copy that's a Kindle copy, and you can order the audio book. So it's up to you if you want to read at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with the foreword. And the foreword is entitled "A Mighty Seed," and it's written by Viola Davis. I was introduced to Miss Tyson on a television set in my family's dilapidated apartment in Central Falls, Rhode Island. Oddly, it was a television that rested upon another broken one, a set with aluminum foil on its antenna for better reception. My sisters Dolores and Diane sat beside me, cross-legged in front of the screen, and together we witnessed magic, an image that changed my life at the tender age of 7. There was Miss Tyson in the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, and that's what I was talking about, that I watched it with my family as well. A made-for-TV movie based on the novel by Ernest J. Gaines. In the 1974 film, 110-year-old Jane Pittman reflects on her life from her enslavement in her early 20s to the day nearly a century later when she defies Jim Crow by sipping from a whites-only water fountain. I couldn't believe the same actress had played both the young woman and the elder one, but Dolores insisted she had. I stared at my sister and then back at the screen, marveling at Miss Tyson's mastery of her craft, the brilliance with which she had transformed herself. It planted in me a seed that immediately took root. She was the manifestation of excellence and artistry, a dark-skinned, thick-lipped woman who truly mirrored me. I can pinpoint the exact moment when my life opened up, and it was there, in front of that set, that mine did. With one mesmerizing performance, with one gorgeously poignant rendering of her character, Miss Tyson gave me permission to dream. I was no stranger to the wonder of dreams. For most of my life, dreams were all my siblings and I had. I was born in 1965 in a one-room sharecropper shack on a plantation in South Carolina. My father was illiterate, and my mother had only an 8th grade education. Desperate to support my siblings and me, my parents moved us north. My father was an equestrian who groomed horses and prepared them for racing, and in Rhode Island he found work. We settled in Central Falls, a mill town, a single square mile in size. Though my father did all he could to piece together a living for us, we still lived in abject poverty, on society's lowest rung. Our deprivation far exceeded the financial. We were the only Black family in a town of white Irish Catholics, a family with no sense of ourselves other than as invisible. There was no foundation of self-love or worth for us, no pathway to any kind of achievement. We settled for a time at 128 Washington Street, or 128 as my sisters and I referred to it. That condemned building represented exactly how the world felt about us. It was the demon that sat on my chest during those years, the devil that still hangs over me as a painful memory of the trauma. Our third-floor rat-infested apartment lacked heat, plumbing, and hot water because the pipes froze during the harsh New England winters. There was a single room with electricity, and from that room, a long cord stretched to connect us to the outside world through that foiled antenna television. It was on that street in 128 that Miss Tyson flickered into my world. In Miss Tyson, I saw a dark-skinned woman with the same fro as my mother, an artist who carried herself with pride and poise. I was more than entertained by the story of Jane Pittman's life. I was mesmerized by Miss Tyson's ability to transport me from my world to hers, to a place where I didn't have to wade through garbage bins in search of food covered in maggots, a place where the demon on my chest disappeared for a time. Even as a child, I knew I wanted more than 128, wanted more than the rat-infested existence we endured. Watching Jane Pittman, I saw my ticket out of poverty and shame. Miss Tyson, the daughter of immigrants, had herself risen out of poverty and onto the global stage. In her journey, I glimpsed possibilities for my own. For hours in our bedroom, my sisters and I would try to imitate everything about Miss Tyson. Her piercing gaze, those eyes brimming with memory and emotion, the way she held her jaw, how she so fully embodied her characters. By the time I was 14, I was so intent on following in her path that I took a bus to an acting class 2 hours away, since my family didn't have a car. There, I was a complete geek in my gaucho pants and my purple mascara, doing all I could to imbue my characters with the empathy Miss Tyson brought to her portrayals. I wanted to be exceptional at my craft, and more than anything, I wanted to be like her. Before I knew of her, Miss Tyson had already made a name for herself as an accomplished actor, engraving our narratives into the storybook of the world. For 6 decades, Miss Tyson has shown us who we are: vulnerable, magnificent, pain-ridden, and beautifully human. Time and time again, she has put our humanity on display, never compromising her dignity while creating a new chapter in Black history. In 1963, during the filming of the series East Side, West Side, she arrived on set rocking her fro, becoming the first Black woman to wear her natural hair on TV. Yet terms like Trailblazer and Pioneer don't fully capture what she means to so many of us who looked up to her as the epitome of Black strength. Miss Tyson is the master truth teller, a warrior with fierce courage and supreme artistry. Her instrument precisely tuned to tell stories that capture our being. Over the years, I've held close Miss Tyson's brave spirit as I've admired her work from afar. Then in 2011, on the set of The Help, I finally met my muse. There, before me on a muggy afternoon in Mississippi, stood the divine giver of gifts, the legend who had inspired me to act. I embraced her, tears spilling from my eyes as I stammered through a flurry of thank yous, none of them conveying the depth of my gratitude. We had no scenes together in the movie, and I wasn't on set when Miss Tyson filmed her segments as Constantine. But the director, Tate Taylor, recalled the dedication she brought to her work. She showed up on set in character and remained that way, insisting that she be called Constantine at all times. That's just who Miss Tyson is, excellence personified. Toward the end of 2014, I asked my role model to play Ophelia, the mother of my character, Annalise, on the ABC series How to Get Away with Murder. In life, Miss Tyson had nurtured and mentored me. On the set, she would do the same, though in a way that initially caught me off guard. She just turned 90 years old then, and she strode in already steeped in the tense history between mother and daughter. As she entered, I stood there with an enormous smile on my face and my arms outstretched to hug her. She marched right past me, reprimanding me with her stern expression. A mother putting a child in her place. She knew that if she'd broken the moment by stepping out of character, her portrayal wouldn't be the same. Faced with that wall, I laughed and thought, well, maybe I need to get working. During our scenes in Murder, I experienced her ingenuity up close. With just her demeanor, with those lucid and revealing eyes, with traces of pain on her brow, Miss Tyson often took viewers someplace you can go only if you've been there. That is because she does not simply act. She bears every corner of her soul. And in doing, she accomplishes what all great art does. She makes us feel less alone. A few years later, when Miss Tyson heard I'd been nominated for an Academy Award for Fences, she called to congratulate me. I clutched the phone, giddy like the 7-year-old I'd been watching her play Jane Pittman all those winters ago. I know the road you're on, she told me. By that, she meant she understood the world that a dark-skinned actress, not seen as conventionally beautiful, was navigating. She knew the barriers in the industry, all the ways, explicit and covert, that someone with my nose and my lips and my hair is told she isn't enough. She was aware of how we Black women are expected to water down our complexity, how our pathology is seldom allowed exposure within the narratives written for us. She had confronted those obstacles. At the end of our call, she urged me to relish the path ahead, the accolades, all of it, just as she'd once granted me permission to dream. She now nudged me to delight in the bounty. Here she was, offering me another gem, this time as a wise ally, lifting her lantern to light my way. This book is Miss Tyson's abundant treasure to each of us. Her life, in her words, just as she is. She shares truth, usually whispered between sisters and close friends, in the dim light of a back bedroom. Those candid declarations, not often spoke aloud. And she tells her story the way only a Black woman can, in all of its dazzling authenticity, heels off and voice undulating, shifting between anguish and exuberance. The art of acting is the art of exposing an emotional unveiling before others. Miss Tyson is as revelatory on these pages as she has been on the stage. She is not just the performer who has so deftly captured the breadth of the human experience with all of its unslicked edges. She is Cicely, the woman, someone who has grappled with the fears and fragilities many of us carry. And during a season when so much in our culture is changing so quickly, she has now blessed us with a timeless jewel, her written legacy. And what a heritage it is, one not gauged by her number of extraordinary roles, but by the countless lives, like many own, that she has lifted. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse, Denzel Washington often said as we worked together on Fences. I don't care how much money you have or what level of notoriety you've achieved. You can't take any of it with you. There is a cap on earthly success, a ceiling on the amount of joy that possessions and awards can bring before disillusionment sets in. Our appearance, our prosperity, the applause, all of it is so fleeting. But a life of true significance has unlimited impact. It is measured in how well we've loved those around us, how much we've given away, how many seeds we've sown along our path. During her 96 years, Miss Tyson has discovered the potent elixir. She has lived a life that is bigger than she is, an existence grounded in purpose and flourishing in service to others. That is her defining masterpiece. That is her enduring gift to us all. This was written by Viola Davis, for those of you that came in a little behind. That's awesome. Let me go to the chat and see who all came in and if anybody have anything to say. Okay, great. Hi, Just Vlogging Life. Welcome in. I'm glad you came. Hello, J Luck. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. This is awesome. Okay. I wasn't sure, did everyone have the book already? It's available to purchase in the links that are in the description. And if anybody wants to come up and discuss the foreword, or if they want to come up and just discuss how they felt about Miss Tyson, then let me know, and I would definitely give you access. Hello, Robert. Welcome in. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Hey, Miss Bullrola. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us to hit the thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go into the introduction, unless anyone has any comments that they wanted to make either in the chat or up on the panel. Okay, and again, I'm reading through the, I just finished reading the foreword of Miss Tyson's memoir, Just As I Am. Okay, I'm going to go into the foreword. Just give me one moment to do some housekeeping. During this break, I think I want to show you guys something that I picked up as well. I'm starting some new things. It's not like I haven't started it in the past, but you know, I ended up not finishing up on it, but I'm going to start again. So take a look at this, you guys. Now, the incentive to purchase one of these planners is from Shawana's Creative Circle. Probably most of you know who Shawana is. If you don't, you might want to visit her channel. She shows you how she has planners and how she works with them. And I picked this one up at the Family Dollar, and it was only $5. And I thought it was so cute. And let me just rip this off so I can show you what it says. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And I'll show you on the inside. It has an area here, like where you can flip papers in or notes and things like that. It opens up. And then every month, it has a cute little saying. One of the ones that like an affirmation, like here's one that says, I can and I will. But there was one in particular that really made me purchase the book, because just recently my sister-in-law passed, and she used to always say this, and it just made me know that she wanted me to do this. Live your best life. So I said, okay, I got to do this. And then it also comes with some stickers in the back. And so Shawana was instrumental in showing me that. I always felt like, well, gee, after you put all those stickers and all of that stuff in there, that seems like it's going to take more time for you to really organize your thoughts. And I just felt like that was too much, but I think it's all for the best. And then something else that I picked up was, I don't know how many of you all have ever had a, oh, thank you, Miss Borola. I appreciate that. I had a diary. Has anyone had a diary before? And I only have one, and it was in high school. And I only did it about 6 months. And the only reason I know is because when I was moving once as a full adult, probably around 35, I looked back and I saw it, and I just read through it, and I was just so amazed. It was like, this biography, not autobiography, even though it was me, but it was like reading through a biography or in secrets of someone that I didn't remember I used to be. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's nice. So anyway, I'm going to do that again. And I found this at the Family Dollar. Walk by Faith. I'm not going to say it like, 2 Corinthians, but 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 is what it's based off of. And every page has some scripture. So this one says loved, and the accompanying scripture, John 3:16. So you get the drift. Oops. So I'll go ahead and continue. But yeah, I'm just gonna start writing some things and look back on it. So I not only have my planner, but I have my journal too. So try to be my own accountability partner until I can get someone. And I think I have a good friend in mind, but we'll see. Okay, you guys, let's check. Let's check. Oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and read the introduction, and then we'll wrap up. Just one moment. If you guys missed the beginning, there's some information that I pulled from doing a little research on Miss Cicely Tyson. And so if you hit the replay, you'll be able to get to that. And also remember, if you're interested in purchasing the hardcover book, the Kindle digital version, or the audiobook version, please support me and do so with the links that are in the description. I certainly appreciate it. And there's also a link for a autographed copy. So isn't that something? Right before she transitioned, Miss Tyson transitioned, she had some books that were autographed. So that's pretty neat. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. Make sure that I didn't miss anybody. Okay, great. And okay, let's continue. The introduction is titled This Life. I never intended to write an autobiography. Decades ago, after I presented an award to Barbara Jordan, the trailblazing civil rights activist, we know, and the first African American elected to the Texas Senate, I asked her, when are you going to write your book? A smile spread across Barbara's face. When I have something to say, she told me. In that moment, I decided that if a woman as accomplished as Barbara could get away with such a reply, so could I. Years later, a gentleman from the Washington Post interviewed me. When are you going to do your book? He asked. And just as I've been doing for quite some time by then, I borrowed Barbara's response. When I have something to say, I told him. Well, I've been talking to you for 3 hours, he said, chuckling. And it sounds to me like you've got plenty to say. I nodded and gave him the same wry grin Barbara had once given me, with no plan of ever committing my story to the page. But then I did not see an autobiography as personal. I thought of it as writing or written record of a public journey for me, an account of my stage and film roles, the parts of my experience in view of the world. It would be my story through the lens of Miss Jane Pittman, through Rebecca and Founder and Benta and Roots. To be sure, there are traces of who I am in every woman I have portrayed. In the tenacity of Harriet Tubman and the quiet strength of Coretta Scott King, I can be glimpsed. In the trembling fingers of Constantine in The Help, and in the determination of Mrs. Carrie Watts in The Trip to Bountiful, my thumbprint is recognizable. Every one of these characters has left me with an emotional, spiritual, and psychological inheritance I will forever carry with me. But while each in some way reflected me, none could reveal who I am in my entirety. A few years ago, my manager, Larry Thompson, started in on me again about writing a memoir. You've got to do a book, he said one afternoon. Yeah, you and the world think that, I told him, shaking my head. No, I'm serious, he persisted. It's time. I uttered the same refrain I'd been repeating to him for months. The lights and the trimmings of my career, the accolades, as far as I was concerned, none of it needed to be recounted. For me, the greatest gratification has come in refining my craft, not in gazing upon its merits. He stared at me for a long moment. You're talking about a Christmas tree, he finally said. What? I asked. Everybody thinks they know who Cicely Tyson is, he explained. But what they see are the ornaments on the branches, the decorations. They know nothing about the roots. That conversation is what planted the seed for Just As I Am. Larry's observation captured for the first time what I have felt so many years. The glitter, the ribbons, the garnish, as wonderful as those things are, I have little desire to reflect on them solely. What I am far more interested in is how my tree, my story, first sprang into existence. How its roots, stretching far beneath the soil, have nourished and anchored me. How each tree ring whispers memories, sometimes too troubling for me to recall. How its bark and rugged exterior have both guarded and grounded me. Every one of my experiences on the public stage has been rooted in my upbringing, those years spent at my mother's elbow and on my father's knee. That foundation, that rich earth, has given birth to who I am. Even now, in the winter of my life, I am just beginning to truly understand my identity. Every holiday season in the heart of New York's Rockefeller Center, a spruce stands proud and glistening in a magnificent exhibition. And yet its display is but a snapshot of that tree's history, one brief and final episode in its lifespan. The thousands of lights adorning its branches disclose nothing about its path, about its nurturing and growth over decades. Only when that tree is stripped of its embellishments does it bear its scars and show its true nature. Just as I am is my truth. It is me, plain and unvarnished, with the glitter and garland set aside. In these pages, I am indeed Cicely, the actress who has been blessed to grace the stage for 6 decades. Yet I am also the church girl who once rarely spoke a word. I am the teenager who sought solace in the verses of the old hymn for which this book is named. I am a daughter and a mother, a sister and a friend. I am an observer of human nature and the dreamer of audacious dreams. I am a woman who has hurt as immeasurably as I have loved. A child of God, divinely guided by his hand. And here in my 9th decade, I am a woman who, at long last, has something meaningful to say. I stand amazed at this tree, this life. I stare up in awe at its branches, raising up toward heaven. I wonder about its origins, how a seed so minuscule could grow into a structure so vast and resilient. I'm still examining its genesis. To examine, to question, to discover, and evolve. That is what it means to be alive. The day we cease to explore is the day we begin to wilt. I share my testimony in these pages, not because I have reached any lasting conclusions, but because I have so much to understand. I am as inquisitive about life now as I was when I was a child. My story will never be finished, nor should it be. For as long as God grants me breath, I will be living and writing my next chapter. And that's the end of the introduction, people. Wow. I don't know about you all, but I kind of want to keep reading without you all. Oh, wow. Let me get to the chat and see what's going on. Thank you, Miss J. Luck. Thank you. So, yeah, you guys, I just knew I had to have that book because she's just powerful to me. Just the word. And, like I said in the beginning, I had ordered the book, and that was before her transition. And who would have imagined? I mean, that Miss Tyson was up in age, but I think it really never hits you. You just don't ever want to accept someone that great is leaving. And even though I didn't know her personally, I felt a tremendous loss when I found out that she had passed. Almost the same way as I found when Maya Angelou had passed, because I had always wanted to sit at her feet, kind of like Mary and Martha with Jesus when Jesus was talking. And one of the sisters said, "She's not helping me. Tell her to get up and help." And he said, "No, she's where she needs to be." I always wanted to be there and just act as a sponge to soak up whatever Maya Angelou had to say, as well as Cicely Tyson. And that's why I was really impressed when Tyler Perry decided to put both of them in scenes together in a Tyler Perry Medea's Family Reunion. So if you haven't seen that, then by all means go and check that movie out. Okay, let's check the chat. Thank you, J. Luck. No, I really do appreciate that. Robert. Oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Okay, so now, does anyone have anything that they'd like to add or want to come up and speak about this awesome woman or the readings, anything that you got out of the reading? If you'd like to, just let me know, and I'll go ahead and I will drop the link so that you can have access to the panel. I hope all is well today with each of you. I'm in the Northeast, so we got a ton of snow these past couple of days, but I'm fine. I have all of my essentials, and by essentials, I don't necessarily mean water or toilet paper. I'm talking about things like chocolate covered peanuts. And what else did I get that wasn't essential? Oh, I got some plantain chips. I like those. So I'm good. I'm real good. Robert's laughing. I'm telling the truth, Robert. I sure am. Okay. But I hope everyone is staying safe and has everything that they need on a serious note. I do, right? I do need a look. No, Robert, box old wine. I never will forget when I saw a Foodie Squad had hers, and I'm like, I gotta get one of those. She told me where to get it too. But I did try her sangria. I couldn't find it in the box, but I got it in a bottle. And I didn't want one of those little bitty bottles because the little bitty bottles seem, what is that, like three and a half glasses, and that's it. So if you share a bottle of wine with a friend, you only gonna get about a glass and a half a piece. No, but as a matter of fact, I was supposed to bring mine upstairs to do the reading, and I didn't. So, oh well, I can always get it the next time. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and everybody needs their own bottle, right? BYOB. Thank you all for coming, and I want to ask you to please share this out, and if you haven't already, give it the thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And what else can you do? Well, you guys are probably already subscribed, and I want to thank you for staying subscribed with me and hanging with me. That's awesome. But sharing it out and liking it is just perfect. And I will see you all for the next installation. And the next installation will be part of part 1. And I haven't decided whether I was going to do the first and second chapter or just the first. I'm trying to give people the time to pick up their digital copies if they choose to, so that maybe we can have someone else read and just have a panel and have everybody chipping in and then discussing it. So if that sounds of interest to you, I'd love to have you. That would be awesome. I would always, I like book clubs. Even before Oprah began her book club, I always enjoyed having a good discussion and chat. We can always learn something, and you can get other people's opinions. One thing I remember in school was that I never will forget it. I was in elementary school. I think it was about maybe 6th or 7th grade. And we were reading from a literature book. And in this particular case, it was some type of poetry. And my instructor asked me what I thought about it, what I thought the meaning was behind it. And I told her, and then she said, no, that's incorrect. And I'm looking at her like, how are you going to tell me that's incorrect? And you asked me an open-ended question. It wasn't a yes or no. For example, was this about death? Was this about life? It was, give me your opinion about it. What do you think about it? What was the meaning? And so I'm always interested in what other people hear, what they hear in their spirit when they are reading anything, a book, whether it's prose or whatever it is. And I think that was a shame that she did that, because she probably dampened the spirits of my fellow students who wasn't as strong-willed as I was, because when she turned around, I just did like this, whatever. So yeah. So you guys, I'd love to hear your opinion. Let's see. Oh yeah. Thanks, Robert. And tell a friend. And Queen, yes, I have it. I already have it up, Robert. From the first day you said Queen should, because I had been looking for it. And I know you was gonna beat me to it. So when you came and you said February 16th, I put up the live right away because I'm not planning on forgetting it. I am ready for that. I've been ready for that for quite a while. And just as an aside, the prequel to Game of Thrones, they said should be ready in 2022. Okay, so that's something that I'll be there for as well. Okay, if God, still has given me breath on this planet, then I'll be there for that. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much again, everybody, for coming. I certainly do appreciate you. I want to thank you all again. Let me just start up at the top. The local family, Donna Reed Love, and Just Vlogging Life, J Luck Blog, Robert Gant, Miss Full Roller. And I think that was it for tonight. Everyone else, they just won't be as lucky as you guys are. They'll have to catch the replay. But seriously, though, I do appreciate you all coming in. I know there's a lot going on right now on the YouTube streets, or as Miss Full Roller says, the YouTube streets. And I thank you all for coming in. Even if you had to, play double jeopardy, or multitask, it's okay with me. I appreciate you all. You all take care, and thank you for being a part of the Web Savvy Cafe, Cicely Tyson, Just As I Am, Memoir Book Club. Bye-bye now.